I monthly want to do my income and expenses, track my income, pay my expenses, and I want to be in communication with my managers. The second thing that I care the most about is my yearly review. In my yearly review, I want to get my actual cash flow on my assets, whether that's a single family, industrial, warehouse, syndication deal, hard money loans. I want my actual returns, and I want to see what my cash on cash return is on those. And on any assets that I'm holding long term, I want to reassess the value of those and get an actual APR, actual annual growth by percentage of my gains on those assets. I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter. So I want to talk about, do you review your real estate portfolio every year? Do you actually manage your real estate portfolio on a recurring basis? Do you take the time to actually look at the growth in your portfolio? So I have a whole thing that I do. It might seem long and complicated, or it might seem super easy. So I'm going to try to give you the super easy version, okay, of what I do about my portfolio. First and foremost, what I have for my portfolio is what I call an earning goal. And I suggest you have it for yours as well. What do you need as a return out of your portfolio every year? How much do you want it to grow? And I'm not talking some big pie in the sky number like 20% or 25%. I mean an actual well-planned, thoughtful conversation called, my portfolio is currently worth X. I want it to be worth Z. It's going to take me 10 years, or I'm going to spend 10 years growing it. What does my portfolio need to grow by every single year to go from X to Z over the next 10 years? Is my return 7%? Do I need 12%? Do I need 15%? That is your earning goal. What will it take to grow your portfolio over the next, pick your years, 10 years, 20 years, from X to Z? And that's how much my portfolio as a whole needs to earn. Is my portfolio have a single asset in it? No, mine doesn't, and yours may not. And as you grow as an investor, hopefully it has more than one asset in it. The question isn't, does every asset perform to that? The question is, does the portfolio perform to that? That is your earning goal. And I can go through another conversation on exactly how you can calculate that. But right now, what I want to talk about is, now that you have the goal for your portfolio, do you make sure it's doing it? So how do you maintenance your portfolio? I'm going to suggest a couple very simple things to do that are worth doing. 1, have your earning goal. 2, do your income and expenses, and you're managing the managers every month. So you want to make sure you got all your checks. You want to make sure you paid all your bills. You want to look at that to make sure all that's happened. And then you want to make sure you've been in communication with your management company, if not weekly, at least once a month. Once you get the management statement, you want to send an email to your management company or management companies. Okay. So it should take you maybe anywhere from 3 hours a month to an hour or 2 a week, which would be potentially 8 hours a month, for you to manage your portfolio. If you have good systems in place, you're tracking making sure you got all your income, you're making sure you're paying all your expenses, and you're making sure you're communicating with your managers on a monthly basis. Monthly maintenance on the portfolio. Now let's talk about your 6-month review. So at about 6 months, you want to make sure that all your holdings are up to date. And what I mean by that is, like, I do hard money loans. It's very likely I'll have a hard money loan come due in that 6 months. As a matter of fact, I just got a text today from somebody who I have a hard money loan with. He is on one of my properties, and he texted me today and went, "Hey, Christina, the note's coming due. What are you going to do about it?" Now, normally I'd be the one reaching out to my investors saying, guess what, investors, your note is coming due in the next 2 months. Let's talk about paying you off, or let's talk about the project, or let's talk about rolling you forward, right? So every 6 months, you want to make sure that all the timelines and dates on your syndication deals, on your hard money loans, on your projects, on your rolling forward, that everything is performing the way you want it to. Sometimes people would say every 3 months would be a good idea to review, is everything up to date and rolling over the way it's supposed to, based upon what your holdings are inside of your portfolio. Now, here's the yearly review. And the yearly review to me is actually as important as the monthly. The two most important are the monthly and the yearly. In the yearly review, I like to actually do a current holdings. I take last year's schedule of assets and I update the numbers for my actual income and expenses for the year. And that will automatically update what my cash flow return is on every one of my rental properties. It will also, if I have a note, it will also update my actual return on my notes. Okay. If I have a syndication deal, it would also update the actual returns on my syndication deals, because I'm tracking the cash flow associated with those assets. I also like to take a guess at, go on Zillow if you want, go on realtor.com or Redfin, and take a guess at your current market value on your rental properties or on your holdings, whether it's commercial property, industrial, warehouse, or single family or multi-units. Get a sense for the current market value, because the two primary forms of return that I track in my portfolio, even though there are several forms of return, I track two. I like to track cash on cash, and I like to track appreciation. And the way I've just told you how I return the cash on cash, the way I do the appreciation is by being able to update. How much was this asset worth a year ago? How much is it worth today? And what is the increase that I have seen in that asset between those two numbers, divided by what it was worth at the beginning of the year? That gives me my actual growth in my capital gains. So let's recap real quick. I monthly want to do my income and expenses, track my income, pay my expenses, and I want to be in communication with my managers. The second thing that I care the most about is my yearly review. In my yearly review, I want to get my actual cash flow on my assets, whether that's a single family, industrial, warehouse, syndication deal, hard money loans. I want my actual returns, and I want to see what my cash on cash return is on those. And on any assets that I'm holding long term, I want to reassess the value of those and get an actual APR, actual annual growth by percentage of my gains on those assets. When I add my cash on cash return together with my actual growth on my appreciation, I should get a total portfolio return. That is my earning goal. How do I get from X to Z is defined by my earning goal, and my portfolio should perform to that. And every year, I want to update my holdings and make sure that I, as the asset manager, got my portfolio to perform. I am Christina Suter. You can find me at christinasuter.com. You can go to Roku TV, iHeartRadio, podcast, iTunes, as well as go to the Christina Suter YouTube and see lots of videos there for free. Get yourself educated in real estate. It will make all the difference in your long-term success. christinasuter.com.